What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the show. My name is Patrick Seatman, and coming up on today's show, we got a story around J.J. McCarthy that will have you guys absolutely fired up coming from OTAs, and then also Jalen Nailor. He's getting compared to Deebo Samuel. We'll break it all down on today's show, but we do have some disappointing news. The Minnesota Timberwolves did drop Game 5 to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. It wasn't even a game. They just got embarrassed on the floor, and I saw this tweet from Matthew Taylor, kind of putting salt in the wound here, saying total 5-24, 0 championship appearances in the final 4 round of the playoffs since 1991. The Vikings have dropped 4 championship games. Twins lost in 5. Timberwolves are 4-12. Wild got swept in their one ship. Hopefully J.J. McCarthy's the guy that turns this whole thing around. But hey, if you guys want the Vikings to end the championship drought here in Minnesota, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon. I'm not a superstitious guy, but maybe we need to be a little stitious here on today's show. So if you guys want the Vikes to end the championship drought, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon. All right, so the story around J.J. McCarthy, not a shocker here. He's an absolute football sicko, and this is written up by Alec Lewis talking about J.J. McCarthy and just his process that he goes through every single day when he's at practice, what he does after practice, and just how he breaks down film. And it was pretty cool stuff, but here's what Alec had to say. After practice, McCarthy evaluates the film of his throws twice. First, he'll scan through them during his post-practice treatment sessions. Then later in the night, he'll dissect them more intensively. Meetings with coaches the next day reinforce the opportunity for learning. And, this isn't shocking at all that JJ is taking that extra step where, most guys probably just go back, watch the film one time, see where they can improve, and that, probably does enough to get them to, a solid level of play. But J.J. McCarthy, he wants to be great. So he's going to go watch that film twice, and it's not shocking at all. But I will say this on McCarthy. Whatever his ceiling is as a pro in the National Football League, whether that's him being a top 5 quarterback, a top 10, or a top 15 quarterback in the league, he will reach that ceiling. And it is such a good feeling as a fan to support a guy who clearly this is all he cares about. He just wants to be the best version of himself. It is a me versus me mentality that he has. And whatever that, top end, that final end game that he can have in the NFL, he will reach that because he is a football sicko. All he cares about is getting better and winning football games, and it's a great feeling to have as a fan. But also J.J. McCarthy said this on his growth from year 1 to year 2 during OTA, saying, I would just say the familiarity within the offense. Just being able to regurgitate play calls and understand where guys are at, where they're supposed to be if they're not there. Yeah, the familiarity in the offense is the biggest change. And, I don't want to connect this back to like the Minnesota Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. But, we have seen a guy like Anthony Edwards, each offseason, he just added a little more to his game. And I'm sure this offseason he's going to add that another level. But last offseason, he added that 3-point shot. And I think the same thing will happen with J.J. McCarthy, where it's like year 1, no matter what happens, he'll have a big takeaway, and he'll try to improve that part of the game. So overall, this will be a process. Like, I understand we all view next season as a year where the Vikings could have a very special season. But just trust the process, and I'll tell you what, this photo of J.J. McCarthy breaking down the huddle with Jefferson, T.J. Hockenson, Jordan Mason's in there, Addison's behind T.J. and Josh Oliver. I mean, this looks like it could be a Zoom background. This thing is absolutely awesome. But Kevin O'Connell also had this to say on J.J. McCarthy. What I've been really surprised by is some of the things that he does know. You're like, man, we covered that in a 10-minute burst in Week 11 last year. How do you remember that? And then there are some other things where you're like, oh, I assumed he knew that. So what's our job? Baseline teaching and stacking days and layered learning, so we're constantly making him feel like he's growing but never comfortable, never satisfied on any particular outcome, because we're building towards something much greater than just a single play here or there. We can't assume that he knows any particular thing just based upon the meeting room. We got to come out and feel it and organically feel exactly where he's at. And, just specifically on Kevin O'Connell and JJ, and another big reason why I'm such a believer in McCarthy is because I feel like JJ is just a younger version of KOC. Like, it was funny when KOC, his first introductory press conference with the Vikings, I always remember him just saying, we're going to be a process-oriented group. It's not going to be about the results. It's going to be about the process, the day-to-day life. And that's how JJ lives his life. He's a process-oriented guy. So, like, these two, the relationship they are going to build is going to be special, and I just can't wait to watch it develop year after year after year. And just to see the final version of JJ with that guy kind of leading his development in his year every single day of practice, I just can't wait to watch these two, fully develop together here in the NFL. But I got to ask you guys this because this is for me. I'm a 25-year-old Vikings fan. By far, this is the most excited I have ever been heading into the season. Do you guys agree with me? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. For me, no doubt, I cannot wait to watch this football team play next year. I was excited going into the year. I think it was after the NFC Championship when we brought in Kirk Cousins. Like, that definitely had some juice. But this year just feels special. So you guys let me know. Is this the most excited you have been going into a season? All right, so Jalen Nailor, he was turning heads at OTAs mainly because he's looking freaking yoked watching rocking number 1 as well instead of number 83. And he was getting comparisons to Deebo Samuel from Alec Lewis. I'm going to share with you guys that info here in a second. But before we do so, if you guys want to get a Minnesota Vikings hoodie today, now is your chance because hoodies are up to 50% off at that link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. I'll have that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But if you guys want to get some more Vikings merch this summer, this is a great chance to do so. So hit that link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. They're up to 50% off. Take advantage of this deal because once the summer goes, they won't be, up to 50% off. So click that link in the comment section and description of today's show. All right, so our good old friend Alec Lewis, shout out to him. He said Jalen Nailor looks like Deebo Samuel at OTAs. He was kind of joking. Maybe it's because of the number 1, but clearly high praise for one of the better playmakers we have seen over the last couple of years at the NFL level. But this is specifically what Alec Lewis had to say. He looks, I joked with somebody, and like his body type, wearing number 1 today, almost looked like Deebo Samuel to me. I know that's like going way overboard. Again, it's just going to hurt. Like, it just would be wild, I think, for people to hear that. But it was. He looked great. So, shout out to Purple Persuasion on Twitter. He tweeted out the RAS score from Deebo and Jalen Nailor, and they're very similar. And the only thing that is really the biggest difference is the weight. But it looks like Jalen Nailor is probably around 205, 210 pounds as it stands right now, and Deebo at the Combine was 214. So if you just up that, they're damn near the same player. And I will say, I was shocked that Nailor, I forgot, he only ran a 4.5 40-yard dash at the Combine. But if Nailor could kind of hop in that Deebo Samuel bag, be that playmaker with the football in his hands, like, is he going to be the yak guy that Deebo was? Probably not. But if he could be like 70% of what Deebo is, that would be huge because that's a wide receiver 3 spot for the Vikings. You're going to have an easy task. Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, they're going to be getting all the attention. You're going to have some very favorable matchups, and hopefully Nailor can take advantage. And, Nailor was good for the Vikings last year. He had some big-time plays. You remember that game against the Packers? He started the game off with a 40-yard touchdown. He just had, felt like every month or so he would have just a random, 30, 40-yard touchdown. He's got that big play ability. And he found the end zone 6 times last year on 28 receptions for going over 400 yards as well. And, I do think the wide receiver 3 battle, maybe I was drinking a little too much NFL draft juice and really diving into Ty Felton. And I still think he's going to be an awesome receiver eventually in the NFL. But I do think Nailor gets the top nod at the wide receiver 3 battle. I'm assuming week 1, no matter what, he will be wide receiver 2, assuming Addison does get suspended. But I will say on Nailor, I think this will be his last year on the Minnesota Vikings. And if he has another good year, let's just say he goes for like 500, 600 yards, has 6, 7 touchdowns, I think another team's going to look at him and be like, all right, we're going to go toss him a bag, and he's going to be our, like, let's just say wide receiver 2, which honestly I think Nailor has that potential to be just that in the NFL. But it would not shock me at all if Nailor has another good season and he will get paid next offseason. And probably won't be by the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe they try to get him on a good deal, but I think them drafting Ty Felton, even if Nailor is unreal next season, he'll probably be on the way out. And, connecting this back to Jordan Addison here, I have no worries about Addison missing time. Like, if that does end up being the case where he is suspended for 3 games, I'm cool with Nailor, Rondale Moore, Ty Felton. I really think both those guys are going to, or all those guys are going to have, high impact plays this season. But we'll have to wait and see. But in terms about Addison missing time, I just really have no worries. I think the wide receiver group will be just fine. But hey, Jalen Nailor rocking a new number, so let's type that down below in the comment section. I think a big year could be coming for Speedy. No more number 83. He's rocking number 1 now. So type that jersey number down below and hit that subscribe button on your way out. We'll see y'all next time. As always, Skol Vikes.